morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? I'm a little bit worried about my PC this morning. It seems a little bit choppy. So even if I'm looking here on the LinkedIn feed, it looks a little bit choppy. So hopefully it will come right during the thing. It's not my internet connection. It's actually my computer. So I don't know what the audio is going to sound like, unfortunately. I hope it's going to be okay. My apologies for that. You never know what is happening with Windows, and I didn't shut down my machine. I usually let it run through the night, so I will restart it before I go to bed and let it do its thing. But I don't know, for some reason, it's not perfect this morning. On birthday number 21, this is literally birthday number 21. Let me put off the music. It's our 21st day in a row, 21 days consecutively, and it's gone by so quickly. It's amazing. So today is Thursday, obviously. So Thursday, the 9th of April. Yesterday we had our refresher. Went very, very well. We had 30 people attend. Thank you to each and every single one of you. I've got some great news for you. I received the CPD approval this morning. So just about 7:30 this morning, Kim from the FBI sent me the confirmation. 3.5 CPD points. So that's great. I know that's not why you were there. Wink, wink. But still, you've got 3.5 CPD points. So now I can process. Obviously, I need to look at the attendance, etc. But from what I could see on who was live all the time while I was doing it, in the sense of who's in the participants list, everybody was there the whole time. So thank you very much. The feedback was incredible. I'll share some of that feedback with you over the weekend. And just seriously from my side, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Yes, Amanda, I'd say bring 2 cups of coffee and a flask and a backup tin of coffee, of course. That's important. All right, let me get into saying good morning. I've got some interesting stuff I want to share with you today. Let's go. Here we go. So, good morning, Neil. I'm over on YouTube. Neil Strydom, good morning. I don't know if you can maybe let me know, is the sound and that at least all right? So even if my video is a little bit choppy this morning, as long as the sound is fine, it should be okay. I've got some interesting things I want to actually show you today. I've brought some toys that I want to share with you. So stick around. I hope this is going to come right. All right. I just want to see. Let me just close down that. Great stuff. All right. Bernard, good morning. Welcome back. Thank you once again for being here. And Yaku Roots. Yaku, thank you. You know, a regular, definitive. Good morning. Thanks for saying hi. Good morning, Ian. Welcome back. Thanks for being here. Kathy van Bloemfontein. Welcome. It's bly jy is hier so hoor. En dan Malcolm Hendricks. Thank you, Malcolm. We were having a little bit of a chat yesterday on WhatsApp. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Kevin, welcome back. Kobus, welcome back, Kobus. Good morning, Wayne. Good morning. Ian says it sounds okay. Sound all good. Hi, Francois and everyone. Good morning, Mark. Welcome back, Mark. Wow, I must say, I'm so impressed with the YouTube channel because, in the beginning, like everything is happening on LinkedIn and it still is. I've got a number of people here on LinkedIn who I'll say hi to second. On YouTube, we're now sitting on 20 people live, and we started off with 1, which was probably my wife. So, we've really good morning, Bongi. Your emails, I did reply to all your emails. I just had to go rest yesterday after that 4-hour session. But I did answer you eventually late afternoon. So that is done. Thank you, Kobus, for letting me know. Almin, welcome. Almin, thank you for being here. You're definitely a regular. You're not missing a beat. So thank you very much for your support and for helping us. And the rest of the people say that the sound is good, eh? So as long as I sound good, I don't have to look good, eh? That's important. Alrighty, cool. Over on LinkedIn, Shalom, Titi. Good morning, Terence. Sani Bunani. Good morning, Slanganani. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it K Nkosi or is it your initials? But hi, welcome. It's the first time I've seen you here. Salome, good morning, goeiemorgen, welcome. Hello, Renata. Renata, I'm looking forward to tonight. Tonight we're talking COVID-19 relief packages and all sorts of interesting stuff over on her webinar. So if you want to attend that, it's a complimentary webinar, so you can do that. If you want to learn more, at least learn more so that you can sort of guide your clients in the right direction. I know she did tag me on LinkedIn, so if you just go search for me or for Renata, then you'll find the link to go and register. Who else have I got here? Lelani van Willig. Welcome, Lelani. Sureta, good morning. Welcome terug. I did answer all your emails as well. Hello, Rizan. Happy 21. Thank you. You know. Let me see. Nyani, Mr. Manzi man. Hello. Welcome. Lerato, welcome back. Nice to see you here again. Amanda, obviously. I hope you brought more than 2 cups of coffee. Thank you for the congratulations. I appreciate it. Surieta is just all stars. Morning, Neil Phillips. Good morning. Ronnie Els, we also had a nice chat yesterday. Thank you very much for being here this morning. And guys are saying hi to one another. Great stuff. Kobe says, I was happy to have my 21st anniversary with your community, Francois. Wow, that's awesome. Alrighty, so is that 21st anniversary? Because I know, yeah, so was that like in your marriage or is that in your career? Is it in your practice? Like, what are we celebrating with you, Kobe? Then Johan Marais says, morning. Good morning. Hi, Louis Euster. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Alrighty, so obviously you're not here to listen to me greet everyone necessarily. At least I hope that you're excited when I greet you. Personally, but yeah, so I wanna get going in terms of my chat today, and you saw that the thumbnail said quiet. You just want to be quiet and just listen to that. Well, I don't know on your side, but on my side, there's nothing. There is like nothing. So I don't know. It's something that I sort of noticed, with everything, with all the cars being gone. And I think I said it in one of the earlier episodes about, when lockdown started, it's amazing how quiet and clean everything is. So I don't know, they say there's something called noise pollution. And we get so used to that we don't realize anymore that, all this noise going on around us. And suddenly I'm hearing all kinds of birds. There's always like the hadidas I always hear because there's like 3 or 4 of them walking on my grass, getting out earthworms and stuff every day. But other than that, you don't really hear much. And now suddenly I do. And I think, it's really great that we are becoming aware again about what's going on around us, or maybe what's been happening around us for such a long time. And that's one of the great things that I enjoy about what's going on at the moment. I've had quite a number of chats with people overseas, people here. Everybody's saying that, have you got cabin fever? Are you okay? And I'm like, crap, this is like this is my holy place, my retreat, it's just, I love it. Yesterday after the session, when we ended, I was like dead tired. I was gone, and I thought I was going to go to sleep. And then as I went and sat on the chair, I was just thinking like, no. I saw there's a million emails that came in. There's all these things that's happening, and let me go answer those. So I first had a bit of just to relax and chat and so on. And then I went on. I only went to bed last night at 10 eventually, but I slept like a baby for a change. So tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow morning, obviously it's Easter Friday. I am going to do a show. I'll be here. But I'm not definitely going to work tomorrow. So once I'm done with the live show, then I'm just going to chill. I don't know, just do nothing. And on Saturday, obviously, we'll have a show. Sunday, Monday, we'll have a show every single day still. But that's what I'm going to do over the weekend. Some of the things I want to share with you today is what I'm going to do on Saturday as well. And I just thought, as I was lying in bed last night, I was trying to think about, like, this is how it goes. I decide the evening before the morning what I'm doing in the show. It's very rare. It's only with guests that I would know in advance. And yesterday I asked everybody on my WhatsApp some ideas for my topics. I just want to have, because I'm looking at what is relevant in the moment and what's going to have a big impact in the moment. It's not necessarily what is a great topic to talk about. It is more about its impact and how I feel people, what that would mean to people if we talk about these different things at this particular point in time. But I also want to build up this list of topics so that as we continue with this show way beyond the lockdowns and everything, that I've got great things to talk about, and that I know that these are things that you want to hear about, because it's about what you want. It's not about what I think or what I want. I can deliver and do stuff for you and get guests on that we can talk about. I had a number of brilliant suggestions, but there was one in particular that sort of stood out as well that I will definitely be looking into. So excited for that, and just a quick thank you from my side for helping with all of that. I really appreciate it. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, I just need to get into the right screen here, so I can just show the things on the screen as I would normally do. So let me take this off. Please, if you over the subscribe button and hit the like buttons, guys, on LinkedIn and on YouTube, please hit the like button if you like this video. If you don't, then don't. But yeah, please do that. Helps us get out there. Obviously, we want more of the right people to learn about us and to join us for the show. And that's the thing as well. I just want to go on, everybody's going to necessarily fit into what it is that we do here, because here we're part thinking, we're there for one another. We genuinely care about our clients. We genuinely care about each other. We care about our industry and where we want to go. And we all want to play our role in getting it to that professional level that it deserves to be. And that's what this is about. This is not about, and any other entrepreneur is welcome as well. It doesn't have to be only financial advisors, although most of my content will be based on financial advice or financial advisor businesses, financial services providers, and so forth. And over time, I would also like to reach accountants and tax practitioners, because I work in that space as well. But, that's what I want to do. So for more about the things that we focus on, the things that we stand for, and if anybody ever gets into the group and you feel that this person is not adding value, or this person is causing some ructions in the group, then as a group, we must just keep them out, because that is inevitable that would happen at some point in time as this group grows. So I just want to put that out there right now already, to say that I'm very serious about this, and I'm very serious about what I stand for, and I love every single person that has been part of this community from the start. As people, it's just nicer, and everybody communicates and engages and talks to one another. That's what I want. So let's be there for one another. But also, let's not let one day that one rotten apple come and spoil what it is that we've built here. We can stand together as a community. So I wanted to put that out there, so that you know what to expect if anything like that ever happens. All right, ready to rumble, as they say. Yeah, there we go. Action over words. So today I want to obviously talk about mindset, and a big part of this is, I think a big reason for this is that, number one, so many people have told me in the last few weeks, it's been amazing to see how I choose to focus on specific things, and I choose to keep on doing things, and that I don't focus on what's going on around me. And apart from that, I didn't even realize that myself, because it's taken a lot of years of hard work to get to that point where I don't get distracted by things like COVID and lockdowns and things like that. It's not to say that it doesn't influence me, and it's not to say that I didn't crash for a day or two. I think I've already discussed that. But it's important that one can very quickly recognize when something is pulling you away from your purpose, or it's pulling you away from what you wanted to do. It's pulling you away from your plan. It's pulling you away from your family. It's pulling you, it's just because that's a distraction. I don't know who of you ride motorbikes, or if you have ever, been a passenger on a motorbike, or you've ever just, maybe you did ride one. I know people that they ride it once and they go like, no, this iron horse is not for me. So they then stop. But the one thing with a motorbike is that you can't two things. Okay. It's amazing when you go into a bend. So if you go around a corner, whether it's a sharp corner or a gradual one, it doesn't matter. But you don't look straight in front of you. Okay, because if you do, you will lose that bend. You will literally, the chances of you crashing just exponentially increases. What you're doing is, although the road is still going there, and as you start to turn, you start looking there where you want to go, and you don't take your eye off of that. So I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about. Just go, yes, we know, and if you didn't, say like, well, that's interesting. So you need to keep your eye about where it is that you're going. You can't be looking up. And even the other thing about motorbikes is that I'm telling you, I know that you see these guys at the traffic lights and weaving in between cars and everything, and then now and then they will look back. You don't look back when you're on a motorbike unless it's standing still. That is the only time. And it's the same thing with us. It's like when these things happen, like COVID and the things happen, it's like looking back while you're riding a motorbike at 120 k's an hour. It's ludicrous. Okay. And it's not to say that you don't want to look back. It's just that realize, like, as you're looking back, that don't look back, you're going to crash, just go back. And I'm also not for 1 second saying ignore what's going on behind you, because that's just as important. Because when you stop, somebody can run you over from the back, so there are a lot of things that we need to consider. But from that point, I just say, well, I don't know. It's just, and this, by the way, I didn't write this down. This just sort of popped into my head as an example to say that when we ride motorbikes or your bicycle, if you're cycling, it's the same thing. It's not clever if you're going down, on Krugersdorp on the side of that little, I call it a mountain because I'm from the Free State. It's the biggest thing I've seen. So you go downhill, on a bicycle that's got wheels like that at I don't know how many kilometers, and then you don't look back. You're on this mission. It doesn't happen what happens behind you. You need to get to, and you need to keep your eye on where you're going, and you need to stay focused. You can't let other things distract you. So those are some of the things that, not the stories, but some of the ideas that went through my mind last night. As I was trying to stay awake so I can decide on what it is that I want to do today. So I thought about, I think a lot of people have got a lot of noise that's going on currently, and there's lots of things that's happening that's causing them to focus on things that are making them anxious, and focus on things that make them sad. And obviously there's people dealing with people that got sick. Maybe they've got family that are in ICU at the moment. Maybe they have lost somebody. So there's varying degrees of what's going on and what's distracting you, and you must acknowledge that. There's no way that we can just ignore, because when we ignore issues and we don't address issues in our lives, it's going to come back to haunt us. That is a big reason why a lot of people are living in the past, and I lived in the past for a very long time until I decided not to, because it doesn't help you. Lingering on about what I could have done, should have done, must have done, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what are we doing today? What are you doing forward? And I said it the other day in one of the episodes that, in our business, which is financial services or financial planning, whatever role you play in this profession, our role can change. We can decide to do things differently today. If somebody owns a bed shop, for example, they can also decide to change, but it's harder to change. With us, it's got a lot to do with behavior, how we act, how we show up. And that we can change like that. You can change it in a second. It's just a decision that you need to make, and then you need to commit to that decision, and then you need to do it. So so that's a lot of just a position. I've just been positioning what I want to talk about today. But what I do want to share with you are the ideas that I've got and some practical tips and things that may help you. If you are struggling with mindset, if you are struggling with staying focused. And not even now during this time. I mean, obviously it's going to help a lot now, but for me, it's actually about what we do after this and what you do in future. It doesn't matter if you're here and you're 70 years old, fantastic. I don't care. Okay. If you're here and you are 25 years old, or you maybe just left school or whatever, it doesn't matter. Your age does not matter. Even if you've lived in the past for 80 years and you're just close to biltong, you can decide to change that and live the rest of your health, the rest of your life in utter happiness. And there's a few ways that one could address issues that you've got. I'm not going to go there because I'm not a psychologist, but there are tips and tricks and all sorts of in order to do that. The first thing I want to talk about is what has been for the last year, December, well, the previous year, December. So it was like 2018 for the whole of 2019. And I kept it as my theme for 2020 because it is something that has made a profound impact in my life. And I'll share with you where that comes from. So what happened was in the past that, I would, my business is it's almost seasonal, if you will, because, people would be keen on training early in the year and even towards the middle of the year. But as we approach September, October, it's the last thing that people think about. And they start focusing on, we need to get money and make money and see lots of clients for December, because December, nobody does business. And then January is back to school. And, so typically in my life, since from the end of October until the end of January is like very quiet, like there's like nothing happening. And particularly in terms of cash flow in my business. And that happened 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. And that's when I decided, no, it just can't be like this. Obviously, I wasn't planning good enough, and I wasn't, maybe matching my efforts and my actions to what it is that I needed to do to be okay during those months. And wonder by wonder, we did survive somehow. I don't know, but that's the thing. And then I decided that no, this can't be, because what happens to me is that I go sit and I watch movies and I watch series and I'm on my phone the whole time. That's what I typically do when I get into that anxious state and I just feel I can't do anything. I'm so like my heart is racing. I can hear my heart, from stress and stuff. And I just decided, well, one, that's not good for me, number one. And number two is like, there's got to be a way for me to control this, because anxiety is a big thing. Lots of people are suffering from anxiety. And I'm talking like, if I look at how I felt, I didn't suffer. It's just I have anxiety, but there are people suffering from anxiety. So it's really a crippling thing, and it causes you to do nothing, absolutely nothing. And the problem with that is the more you do nothing, the worse it gets. And those are the sort of the things that I said, well, this can't continue like this. So I got to go figure out. And then obviously I did go and figure it out. And I decided that, the best medicine it's not medication. It's not something you drink or some wonder tea from the Amazon. It was taking action, and that has then become my theme. So it was a long way to sort of explain to you that, my is action over words. So action over words is very important. And coincidentally, at that same time, Marnus Broodryk launched SME Africa at the end of 2018. I think it was in November. I attended this event with Wynand and Wessel Oosthuizen and another friend of Wynand's, Andre. There were 3 De Toys in the group. So it was me, Wynand, and Andre, and we were not related to one another. But the 3 of us went there, and as part of this, we got a book that I should have brought it. I just want to say it's just down here, but it's called Acta Non Verba. It's a book by Eric Creer. So I don't know, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you should have seen that I comment and post and like sometimes Eric's posts. They've also got a podcast called Expansive that he does with John Sinai. I think you pronounce his surname, not too sure. But anyway, they've started doing that. But he's a performance coach, and that he's really good. He's a young guy, very focused. Him and Marnus are good friends. And I just like the way that he goes about. So where he started off was by writing daily emails. Grew his email list to people, and still every single email that he did. And what he did was eventually he took all of those emails and then he put it into a book. Now this book is structured in such a way that I think there's 165 reflections, if my memory serves me right. 165 emails, in other words, that he wrote. But it's obviously not in an, I mean, you won't see the actual email, you'll just see the words that he wrote. But the book is structured in such a way that you can read one reflection each day. Every day you read one. So it's not a book that you would sit down and then read in a done. It's meant to be, to take you almost 6 months to go through that. And I did. And there were a number of interesting insights and interesting things that I obviously love as part of that. Biggest, if I might call it, or learnings that I've had, it was the. I just want to make sure that these things are closing. Sorry. Is there's a whole principle around accretion. So not secretion. That's something. Here with that is that you know, it's sort of the same idea than atomic habits. Atomic habits, it's that 1% change. It's just that then this big change, you change it, and then one and same. It was that. Just take this out the way. Sorry. It talks about the principle of accretion, and what he does is he gives this example around a snowball. You know, a snowball starts off small, then it starts rolling down the hill, and it's small as it goes, and it gets bigger into movies. Sometimes it's a comedy, sometimes it's a disaster, but it eventually becomes this big unstoppable. And there's lots of thinking and research that's been written about this. You know, you must do small little things, but it's not to let one good thing replace another good thing. You must build. If you've got a bad habit, for instance, that you are doing, or that just because habits run automatically, it's just what we default to. So if there's something that you're doing that you don't particularly think is good for you or your business or your family, you know, that you need to replace. But if you've got good habits, then you need to stack them. You need to get better and better and better over time. So that's sort of the whole idea behind. I mean, and the question is, but okay, Francois, so that's cool. So we always know what we must do, but how do we do that? And there are some steps that one could take, and it's just to take it slowly. I think our biggest issue is that we are too impatient. We are too in a rush to get things done. We are too in a rush. We don't want to put in the work and the time as well. You know, it's just we just want results, quick results, and then let's move on. We've got other things to do. But in this case, you know, if you want to change any kind of habit, or particularly you want to address your anxiety, you want to address your mindset in the sense of that your mind rushes off to all the things that makes you anxious, or all the things that's distracting you, you know, those kind of things. It's just like you start with one thing, and you start with one thing that's going to have the biggest impact on your life or the biggest impact on your business. And you do that, and all you do is you say, well, let me just do that this day, whatever that is for you. Let me do it today. And then tomorrow, did I do it? You tick it off. And so if you can tick 5 days in a row, you can celebrate. It's great. Next week, you start again. The same thing, 5 days in a row. I did it. So if you decide I want to get up 5 o'clock in the morning, because I tend to get up at 8:30, first day you get up at 5, boom. So that will usually go with, you can't try and get up earlier in the morning and then still go to bed the same time that you usually do. If you want to get up earlier, you must go to bed earlier. It's as simple as that. And I know there's people that thrive on 3 hours and 4 hours of sleep, and that's great. They are built for it. Most of us are not built for it. And there's also a myth that you need all the sleep, like 8 hours of sleep or 7 hours of sleep, or however, whatever people are saying. No, your body will know when you've had enough sleep. You know, so if you know that you typically sleep 8 hours, you're not going to sleep less. You need to go to bed earlier so that you can still get your 8 hours of sleep. Anyway, that's besides the point. So we need to look at at that. And then once you feel like, oh, now I'm just getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, what is the next thing? You know, maybe now you can start making your bed after you get up, or whatever it is. You want to do some sit-ups every day. It doesn't matter, but you get the idea. I mean, and you can take that principle and implement it in your business as well. If you say, well, what is the one thing that I need to do in my business, or what are the 3 things I need to do in my business every single day that's going to have the biggest impact on my business? You know, and do those things generate income? Do they have meaning? Do they take me closer to the things that really matters to me? Then you start doing those things, and you can tick them off every single day. So you can substitute whatever it is that you want to sort of get right with that. But that being said, you know, maybe I can see there's lots of comments here on YouTube. So let me just see quickly. Sorry, my PC is still slow. I don't know what the heck. Sorry, I see the sound breaking up. It's better now. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know what's happening here on my PC. There's obviously something running in the background, and I've closed down everything that I could. So I'm not sure. I'm very sorry about that. You know, but let's see. Let me quickly see. So Neil says, with mountain biking, the saying is, look where you want to go, never where you don't want to go. Yes, that's a good one. Appropriate for us as advisors. Very, very, we can learn a lot from that. Should we switch? No, it's not, guys, it's not necessarily switch. It's not a LinkedIn thing. It's my PC this morning. I can see it's better now from my end on my screen, and then it looks better on the feed that's going here as well. But it's my PC. It's not the internet connection. It's not LinkedIn. It's not YouTube. So it seems to be better now. Let's go. Neil, agree. It's better now on my side. Okay, thank you everyone. For me, having a great morning routine lays the foundation for the day. Yes, there's that video about that army. I don't know what he was in the army, but where he talks about you need to make your bed first thing in the morning, and you do it every day. And that's a great thing if you want to look at that. And also, what is his name? Jocko. Can't remember his surname, but he's also a guy that was in the Navy SEALs. His stuff is also, if you want to get up in the morning, you can set him as an alarm so that he can shout you out the bed if you need that. And then Ryan says, what are some of the morning routines, actions everyone does? Yeah, that's a great question, guys. Share, what are you doing in the morning? What is the first thing you do, except coming to have coffee with me, obviously, now during this time? But let's see. Okay. Good stuff. So let me just see if there's anything else here. Good stuff. Okay. So the second point is, and this is actually where it starts. So I call it feeding your mind daily, but it's about much more. It's about much more. Guys, can you hold 1 second? I think I found the problem. Yeah. You see, now I figured it out. I'm so sorry. I figured it out. I never plugged it into the power. So what the machine is doing is it's compensating to make the battery last. And there we go. I'm so sorry. Okay, I must have a checklist like a pilot, you know. I tell everybody I have a checklist to make sure. I must maybe get myself one as well. Okay, let's get cracking. Just laugh with me, have your coffee, and just say, Francois, it happens to the best of us. That's how you celebrate your 21st birthday. Everybody's got a good 21st birthday story to tell, so why not me? Anyway, so if we look at the sort of feeding your mind daily situation, you know, it's really about more than just feeding your mind, because you can read many books. You can read all the books in the world. You can listen to podcasts. You can watch videos. You can whatever it is that you want to do. It comes down to one particular thing. And if we think about all the greatest athletes in the world, all the great sports teams even in the world, you know, but let's just start with an athlete. On the one hand, what makes somebody a great athlete is obviously their talents. I mean, you've got to have some talent, and then you can hone your skills with that talent. It's about their knowledge of whatever game or whatever sport that they're doing, and how expert that they've become on that. So that's important. But as much as they need to train their bodies, you know, and their skill and all of that, they also need to train their mind. Their mind is probably the thing that gives them the edge over anybody else on a particular day. If you just think about, like, if you watch the World Cup, often you have a team that will come through and they are just like, oh, this year, this is the team to watch, and they're just going to win this thing. And then they come in the final, and think about England here, for example, against us. So it's not the fact that we won or beat them in that final, but, you know, people thought like, wow, this is going to be a thing, and we crushed them. And I think it's simply because of one thing. It is just mindset. It comes down to what you tell yourself, the confidence you have, and those things. You need that to back your skills and your knowledge and your expertise. And that's really the thing that I want to focus on today, is not so much, you know, go read all the books, watch all the videos and those kind of things. You know, work on your mindset, because that is maybe your most powerful thing. It's not to say that I'm saying that you have an issue with your mindset. You'll know that this is a very personal thing. But even if you feel like you've got control of your mind, there's a few things that I want to share with you today that you can really use, and things that's really had a profound impact on my way of doing things. And I mean, I've used this to create more content and do more in this lockdown period than I've ever done before in my life, simply because I chose to focus and not to go into a position of there's no business. And you know what? I've been lucky. I will definitely say it's lucky, because I've had a few deals from corporates who've asked me to do some things for them, which is saving the day for me, you know. So yes, but when they started, I didn't know what's going to happen next. You know, I didn't know because there was nothing on the table. And then people bought stuff on circulars that I thought, like, who are these people? I don't even know them. And then, you know, those 2 deals came through, and it was just amazing, you know, how you're being looked after. So obviously know that it comes from a higher place, but it's also a case of, you know, I kept to action over words. I decided to take control of my mind and say, no, even though you want to go there, come here, because this is better than going there. So if you look at your mindset and what really drives your mindset, it's really your beliefs. And your beliefs have got nothing to do with your religion. It's got nothing. It's not spiritual. It's nothing like that. What it's really about is just what you believe to be true about any specific aspect in your life. And again, guys, I mean, this is stuff that I'm sharing with you that, you know, I've experienced in my life, and things that I've come to learn because I've spent a lot of time sorting myself out, and I'm not figured out, and I'm not sorted out. So not for 1 second. But you know, I've come a very long way, because I got to understand that when you believe something and you hold that to be true, no matter what. So it's like, you know, maybe, and there's a few things. It may be the way that you grew up. It may be a specific event that happened to you. It may be, I don't know, something you saw that happened. It maybe didn't happen to you, but there's somebody else that you know that it happened to, or you know, something you read somewhere, or a video you watched, but something informed this decision you made that in this instance, as far as this is concerned, this is the truth. And then, okay, maybe not so much. But the problem is, it's not to say that you're wrong or that you're right. It doesn't matter. The question is, do you question yourself ever again? Or is it like, oh, once you found your rhythm in your practice, you never go back and revisit the way you do things? That's one of the biggest opportunities that you have right now, is to go figure out, is the way you're doing things really the best way? Is there an alternative way? Is there some things that you can tweak? It's not also always throwing out the child with the bathwater. It's always also about just going and having a look and see, there's one thing we can change, and it has a profound impact on your business. It's about tweaking. It's not about like throwing away and starting from scratch. That's not the idea. But, you know, I think our whole mindset, or our beliefs particularly, and beliefs are a very, very, very strong thing, because that's where everything in your life starts. If you want to, if I told you, if you want to change the things you do, you can only do that like permanently and consistently if you change your beliefs. But what do a lot of people do is they throw motivation here. So you go to conferences, or you attend online conferences now, and they've got motivational speakers. And like you walk out of there, and you're going to be like, now we're going to do this. And then the next thing you know, you're back to the way you did it before. And you think, this is all a lot of nonsense. But next quarter, you go to another event and you get excited. And then I'm going to do this now. This is it. And then somewhere down the line, you get to the point, but I know this. But I've never done anything with it. That's been me for a long time, until I decided to do action over words. And also, you don't try and implement everything at once. So the point is this: no level of motivation or inspiration will keep you going. It may get you going, but it is not the thing that's going to keep you going. Doesn't matter what you're in. I don't care if you do public speaking, or if you're an administrator somewhere, if you're a financial planner, if you're the president of the country. It doesn't matter, okay? Nothing in this world is going to keep you going unless it is driven by your beliefs. And there's a whole sequence of things that are linked. So if I go back, actions is the thing that you can finally see. You've seen that iceberg with a little bit above the top and then everything else below the waterline. So this is that, okay? What you see at the top are the actions. But then what underlies all of this is actually our beliefs. And as I said, is what we believe to be true about a specific thing, whatever that may be. But let me just take you through that chain of events. When you do let's say you have a certain belief about something, and I'll maybe give an example, because this is usually a thing. Hopefully this is now a thing of the past, that we won't be driving in peak traffic anymore. But let's say in the morning, so it's peak traffic, you're late for a meeting, you're frustrated, and now you're sitting on the N1 there by William Nicol, because I know we always sit there if you want to get off the off ramp, to go up to Bryanston side or something like that, or in Cape Town. Okay, when you come from there, you can't land early in the morning anymore, because you're going to sit for 4 hours in the traffic. So wherever you sit in the traffic, you are always the person sitting in line, keeping to the rules of the road. And that's just because you believe that's the right thing to do. And then as you're sitting there, thinking about the beautiful day, that you are late, but it's okay. And then the next moment, there's this guy coming on the side of the road in the yellow lane, okay, where he just passes. And the first thought that comes into your mind is just total disregard. That's why the country is the way it is. That is why we can't get anywhere, because nobody keeps to the rules. Trust me. First reactions. And the longer you believe that, the more, it will be like that, even if you decide to change that. But anyway, so what happens then is that because you believe that people are just careless and they don't care about the rules and they are lawless and they just do whatever they want, the next thing that causes is a certain emotion in you. And typically in that sense, because it's a bad relationship that you've formed with that, it causes a bad emotion. So you get angry, you get frustrated, you just get mad. So that's a feeling, sort of what that emotion creates, So once you have that belief, it creates certain emotions. Obviously, when there's a certain emotion that comes up with you, there's a certain feeling that it creates. So it can cause anxiety. It can cause you to be mad, not crazy, luckily, but mad. It can cause you a lot of things. And then the next thing is that whatever you're feeling directly influences your action. So that's usually where the finger comes out from for a lot of people in that scenario that I've given. But you can look at anything that happens in your life. You can analyze it like that. And you can backtrack it, So you can say, well, this is what I now did. I shouted at someone. Why did I shout at someone? Well, of course, I felt angry and I felt frustrated. And, and why did you do that? No, because I had a certain emotion that came up. And what caused that emotion? No, it's because I think that, people are actually lawless. And just in my example, and that's the kind of thing that we must do. So you can become aware. You always hear a lot of people talk about self-awareness. So self-awareness is nothing more than just knowing yourself very well and understanding why you're doing certain things. Now, please don't go into that, because there are people that will analyze every single thing in their life. They will analyze single thing that their colleagues, their friends, their family, and that say, and everything becomes a discussion and a debate. Don't go there. That's not necessary. This is an internal thing more for me to say, well, understand yourself, because I can only control myself. Anyway, so then what happens? I've got some stuff I want to show you, so I'm anxious to get there. From that point of view, if you want to change your beliefs, there's only one way that you can change your beliefs. There's only one way. There's no other way. It's not a decision to change what you believe, because you can't, unless you get new information that informs you differently. To show that, oh, maybe that was an isolated incident that now became my belief. 99 out of 100 times, that is actually not the case. I was just unlucky to have that one thing happen, and now I believed it to be true. So information will either prove to you that you were right, or it will prove to you that you maybe are not so right. And it's not about saying it's wrong. And even some criminals in the past have said, all I was trying to do is just look after my family. Nobody wants to acknowledge that they were right. From their point of view, they believe that they're doing the right thing, because what they're trying to achieve is whatever it may be. So yeah, but that's I think an important thing to consider in terms of beliefs, because everything starts there. So if you want to change it, you got to cultivate the right beliefs. And just get as much information about, if there's something specific in your life that you feel is always hijacking you, go on a mission to find out what it is that you can do, or get more information. Talk to a lot of people to get both sides of the coin, and even on the flat sides and the round sides, whatever. But go and find everything. And if it makes you uncomfortable, then know you're on the right track. because people must challenge your thinking, and you will always find somebody who's exactly the opposite of you. And we need to understand what that is, so that we can say, well, either no, I still believe what I believe, but at least now you've considered a lot of things and you know why you believe this. Or you can say, maybe I was not 100% in my thinking. Because of the new information, you will automatically then have a different viewpoint. And then obviously the add-on about emotions, feelings, and actions will then just automatically change as a result of that. Cool. Wow, that was a whole thing. So what must we do? Well, if you want to break your habits and your things, let me see quickly. Yeah, there's some nice conversations going on. People sharing. Great stuff, guys. Thank you very much for all the conversation. This is about a community and people supporting and helping one another and sharing with one another, where maybe we won't have the time or the opportunity to do so. So thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate it. I will go through the comments later. So let's continue onwards. Okay, so in terms of getting away, if you really want to quiet your brain, so all I've been talking about is action. And you said, Francois, quiet, but action does not cultivate my mind to get quiet. Okay, so these are just things that are all part of our daily lives that we need to figure out. But if you really want to quiet your mind, there's obviously a number of ways to do it. I mean, the one thing would be, you read a lot about mindfulness and meditation and people doing yoga and all sorts of things to sort of quiet down the mind. That's what they do. So you can take 10 minutes. And you can do it when you get up in the morning. You can do it once you've had breakfast. You can do it whenever it suits you, but it should actually be at a time when you have energy. You don't want to try and quiet your mind when you're tired, because it's hard to quiet your mind. If you just want to sit still and just not say anything and try not to think about anything, like nothing, try and do that. It's very hard. It's hard not to think about anything. The moment you close your eyes, then the mind wants to race. Let's get on that bike and go full speed. But those are the kind of things that you can do to do that. Another thing is sometimes just to break away from the normal things that you've been doing every single day. If you are consumed by business, consumed by work and that kind of thing, even if you want to tell yourself, oh, I've scheduled time with my wife. I mean, are you really there? And I'm very guilty of that, where I spend time with my wife, but my mind is busy with things that I need to go and do. And that's unfair. It's not right. So we need to consider those things and say, well, okay, if that's the case, how do I get away from my work? How do I get away from my business? Or if you have something that just consumes you, how do you get away from the TV or the Lord of the Rings or whatever it may be for you? What is that? And I think so. Apart from the meditation and the yoga and all those things that people love to do, that helps a lot. But it's also to spend time just by yourself. That's also important. But what often people do, there's sort of two sides to this. You can either do something that is active or an exercise in nature. And I've said this before, I think. Please don't confuse a hobby with sport. Okay. No, sport doesn't matter what it is. Okay. That's exercise. Okay. It is not. Okay. It is not. Okay. It is not a hobby. So when we used to ask advisors back in the day when I was still a consultant, what hobbies do you like? Running and hiking and man, those things are not hobbies. Those things are exercise. They are necessary because they get your blood flowing. They make you happy. They make you feel free. They make you feel alive. But it makes your blood flow faster, and it's literally exercise. That's what it is. So that you definitely need. Okay, that's important. The other part of it is what I've come to believe over the years is that apart from this, that a lot of people see as my hobby, is to have something that is creative in nature. So, if you are a painter, if that is your job, if you're an artist or a what you call them, actor, or anybody that sort of works in the creative space, or you create, let's say you're a designer, whatever it is, you need to design. I mean, then you need to be creative, but even in that sense, maybe there's some other stuff. You just want to get away from the thing that you do normally and go do that. For us, we work a lot with clients. We work a lot with numbers. We write a lot of stuff. And those are all things that are very complex sometimes and needs to be integrated with one another. So we spend a lot of time thinking about that. So for us to go and do something that we wouldn't normally do and learn about something that we don't normally learn about is great. And that has opened a whole new world for me. And this all started with me back in 2011. My best friend from school, Charlie Deal, he got me to, he exposed me. Well, that doesn't sound right, but he introduced me. That's maybe the better word, right? So I'm learning English as we go along. But he introduced me to radio control planes and radio control like flying and that. And, you know, back in the day, he used to do like plastic modeling. So that would be like you buy these kits. Most of you, if you were a kid, you've built a tank or a chopper or a little plane or something, you know, and he's been doing that since I've known him, which was back from 1989. And he's still doing it. We're 45 this year, and he's still doing this, and he is absolutely brilliant at what he does. And I mean, he inspired me to sort of, okay, then I got involved with that. But at that point, I was in Bloemfontein, so it was nice. He's there. Then I moved back to Joburg, and I continued with it. But then you start doing that alone. It's not so much fun. I mean, me and him had a lot of fun in Bloemfontein doing that. But then I got more into the scale modeling side of things. And then eventually I sort of figured out, I don't like this because I never went to the army. So I don't know about tanks and planes and choppers. And it's cool to build it. And for me, it was a challenge to show that I can do something nicely. Because back in the day when I was at school, my fingers was always full of glue and everything was just a stuff up and the painting didn't look right. And I was in a hurry. I was always and when you do scale modeling, it teaches you to slow down and take things slower. And you know, but I'll get to what I learned from my hobby. But anyway, as part of this, I got involved in a scale modeling club here in Joburg. And there I met some guys that were into figure painting. Okay, so this isn't the kind of figure painting that you'll see in movies. It's different. So it's not body painting. Okay, this is literally different kinds of figures in different scales that you get. You get them in resin, you get them in plastic, you get them in white metal. So they're made of different kinds of materials. So depending on what you get, but you need to assemble them, make sure that they look all neat, that you can't see all the lines and that, and then you need to paint them. So this is like, you know, the difference between that and the what you call it, and the difference between that and painting, let's say a poster or something that is on a canvas, is that this is sort of 3D because it's a model that you can paint. And then this thing like bit me. And for a long time, I did a lot of painting and I made a lot of progress and I learned a lot of things during the process. So that's some of the things that I want to show you today is just so the things that I'm interested in, the things that's taking my mind off. Because here's the beautiful thing, whether you like to game, so do gaming, whether you like to do the painting and stuff that I do, whether you like to fly radio control planes or cars or whatever it is that you do. You know what the thing is that I realized while I did that, an hour or 4 hours goes by like that, but you are literally unable to think about anything else except the thing that you are busy with. Compare that to sitting in front of the TV watching movies. Your mind is free to do whatever it wants. You will never get away. A lot of people say, I want to watch a movie or I want to watch Friends and whatever to get away from reality, but the reality is that you don't. You don't, because your mind can still do whatever it wants. It doesn't need to focus. And with the stuff that I do, I just realized like, wow, I thought about nothing else. And that alone quieted my mind. Although my mind was thinking and I was focusing on what it is that I was busy with, that's cool. So I want to share with you some of the things. So some of you obviously know that I'm a big Marvel fan and superhero fan and that kind of thing. So that is important, but I also like collecting figures. So it's not always just about building and painting them. It's also about collecting them. So, I mean, here you've got Arrow. I don't know who of you have watched Arrow. So this is a prized possession that stands there in my little, entertainment area, if you will. I've got a whole thing there displaying all of these things. He's too big to fit inside, so I need to put him on top of that display cabinet. But this is the kind of things you get. They look so realistic. I buy these things from Cosmic Comics in on Beyerstudier, close to Cresta, and that's where I get my posters and everything else as well. They've got an online shop for those of you that just want to go check out what there is. But these kind of things, and I go in there and it's like, I want to buy, but these things are quite expensive. So for the last while, I didn't buy. But it's just as nice just to sort of go and hunt for these things and look for them and learn about them and what they're made of and how they made it. Because if you look at it if you know like the figure painting stuff, you can see a lot of stuff. Maybe we can change that, but I wouldn't paint on this guy. But it's possible. So this is a vinyl figure. Anyway, so then some of the things. Let me just put this here on the ground before that falls over. Then yeah, this is also one of the things. I also love dragons. So I don't know why. Dragons is just fantastic. So this is one of the ones that I built and painted. You know, so this is an interesting thing. So I don't know how much you can see the color and everything, but I mean, there's lots that you can see when you close up. But this used to be a silver piece of metal, and this is sort of how it came out. You know, so you make those shadows look like that. They don't look like that automatically. This whole thing here at the bottom, it's not an actual rock. It's a gips. I don't know what gips is in English, funny enough now. But this was a casted thing that was pure white when I got it. And then I painted it to look like this, you know. So the thing about this hobby is that it teaches you a lot of creativity and it teaches you problem solving, because sometimes something just doesn't fit, although it should fit. You know, if you look at there, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but where the thing is not going to focus there, but where the wings go into the body, I mean, those are like, there was a huge gap there when it went in. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you need to figure out how you're going to make this thing look good. So yeah, so that's there. And these things range in sizes, right? Some of the other things that I like to also, I've got a lot of Funko Pops. So whenever it's my birthday, my children and my wife, they never know what to buy me because I always want expensive stuff. So now they buy me Funko Pops. This is a limited edition Batman. But you get this in anything that you actually can think. In overseas, you can even have one made to look like you. So you can have a custom one if you wanted to. So Funko Pops is a big thing. There are people that are a lot more into that than I am. One other one that I've got is this Mr. Incredible, which is special. Before I get all emotional, I'm not going to tell you why, but it is very special. Then a thing that I learned that I love to do a lot is busts. So you get a bust that looks like this. So it's only head and shoulders. You know, and this thing was just a white piece of resin or cream piece of resin when I started with it. Yeah, so that's it. There you can see at the back sort of the, you know, like all the fur and things that they've got over his shoulder and all of that. So this is great, you know, and painting something like this, I think took me a day, maybe a day and a half. And also you learn to work with different paints and how to mix colors. And, you know, it's amazing what I've learned over time with this, but obviously with the help of friends, people that really taught me well, like Arthur Gill. He taught me a lot. Quentin Honeyborn. You know, there's a lot of people that know a lot about this kind of painting that's really helped me and given me a lot. And I've obviously watched a lot of videos and things, but that's also the one thing that I learned. You can watch all the videos in the world, but unless you go practice, I mean, you can know exactly how to hold that brush, how to mix the paint, how thin, how thick the paint must be for different applications. It doesn't matter until you hold that brush and you touch that model. You've no clue what you're in for. And this is the one that I'm busy with at the moment. So this is Thor. It's the original Thor. So it's only got his base coat. So there's no highlights or anything happening yet. But this is what I'm busy with. So on Saturday, we're having a virtual Commons paint lacquer session. So we're going to do that. Yeah, we're just going to do on Zoom a live, like the three of us going to sit together in our own houses and then just paint together, have a chat and a laugh. Because that's also what it's about. You know, often you can share this. A lot of people do tabletop gaming. That's also big, where you have different models and things. And then this is also just to show you how small they get. This is a 35 millimeter necromancer that I painted. You know, and also, you know, just looking at this, and I mean, let me just show you. If you compare those two, you can see there's a massive difference. So when people see these things on pictures, when I post that or share that as we progress with it, you know, they don't really understand how small this thing is. And they're quite amazed when they see it in person. And then the last thing is also, obviously, I'm a big Iron Man fan. So key rings like this. I also got one for Wonder Woman. But yeah, these are the things that sort of keeps me sane. But it's not only that. You know, it's really, I'm just going to skip one of the points. I've already spoken about my hobby, but I want to share with you what I've learned from doing these hobbies. Well, one was that I wasn't able to think about anything else. I was just able to think about this hobby, and the time went by and my mind felt like there was space to breathe again. So that was the very first thing that I learned from this. But in the process, I mean, I learned about color theory. So now, and you know, you think sometimes that it doesn't really, like, what does it matter whether blue and orange are complementary colors, and that if you want to darken a color, you use the opposite color on the color wheel instead of using black. If you want to lighten it, you use the one next to it on the color wheel instead of, you know, it's instead of white. It's simple things like that. You know, how do you, like, thinner paints and layering paints and all these things that you've learned. You know how well that is helping me now create posts and thumbnails, and you know, when I design things that where color is involved, that now you consider those things. So things that I never thought is just my hobby, I'm using in my work. The problem solving that I was referring to earlier, that was fantastic, you know, because now I sort of could suddenly, like, come up with a plan. So it just hones those kind of skills, but you are relaxing. It's not like you're working on your skills. You are just relaxing, enjoying yourself. And then the other big thing that I learned from this is to focus on progress and not on perfection. I didn't bring my very first model, but if I show you that model and I show you my last one, which won a prize, there's a massive difference between the two. But for me, the satisfaction was in putting the models next to each other in the order that I painted them and to see how I've progressed. There is so much more motivation and inspiration in that than any words that anyone can tell me. So never forget to go back and look at where you've come from, where you started, and how you did things in the past. That alone is enough to give you so much confidence to move forward and to know that you can actually, you know, approach or face anything, whatever it may be. Anyway, so that's my story today. Thank you very much for joining me right after, well, not right after this, at 10 o'clock this morning. I'm doing another Zoom session, but it's an update. We already did the training. The training is available if you want to learn how to use Zoom. Today, I'm going to focus more on the privacy and security issues and update you on that. I attended the webinar last night that was hosted by Eric Wan himself. So there's a lot of things that they've changed. There was an update on Zoom last night. So make sure that you update your Zoom client on your laptop immediately. So there's a lot of things that they're doing, and they even set out the progress of or the plan of how they're going to go about to get things where they should be. And I at the end sort of going to share with you, should you leave Zoom or should you stay, and what are the alternatives to that. So yeah, so come join me. The link is on my profile on LinkedIn, so you can get the registration there. I haven't got a link on my website for that specifically, but there is a post. Just go to my profile and look at the posts, and you'll find that where I posted about Zoom. It's got it says Zoom or Boom. I also sent emails to everybody that's on my email list. I did send you WhatsApps if you're on my WhatsApp list. So the links are there. Just go find them and join me. We've got about 50 people that's registered, so looking forward to that. I will also broadcast it here live to YouTube at the same time as well. Anyway, with that, guys, I will look at the comments. I have to run, but thank you very much. I love all the comments, and I'm going to look at them, and I will maybe do a summary or something like that. Let me just see what all happened there. Just from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here. I didn't even have a chance to take a sip of my coffee. Thank you, Mark. He says Gips is plaster of Paris. You see, that's why I don't even know. You know, I'm Francois from Henneman. I don't know about plaster from Paris. So yeah, but I'll go through. I will check out the all the comments here on YouTube as well. But just again, thank you very much. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm back tomorrow morning, even though it's Easter Friday. I'll be here from 8 to 9 with a topic to share with you. And yeah, so come join me, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and see you in the Zoom session. Cheers.